Hi everybody, Deb Tucker here from Studio 180 Design. Today we're going to do a video on what I call strip piece Lemoynes. Now, most of you who are familiar with my Rapid Fire Lemoyne Star method know that we already do strip piecing. That's one of the requirements. You should really be very familiar with the basic techniques before you try this. But what we're going to do with strip piecing Lemoynes is we're actually going to take, and instead of putting a single A and a single B strip, we're going to strip piece the A and the B strips to give us stars that have another level of interest, another level of sophistications, and they look kind of like the ones that we have behind me. So we have a technique sheet on this that will give you a great starting point. First thing you'll do is figure out the size of the block that you want to make. You can make a plan, big or little, if you want to, but what we're going to do is, this is an idea of one of the blocks that we can make with the numbers that are on the chart. You'll notice that there are numbers here, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Those are the positions that the strips need to be sewn in if it matters to you which color goes in which position. This block, when you lay it out to make your A and your B section, will look like this. This is your A section. Normally, this is just a single strip of fabric. This is your B section. Normally, that purple and green are just a single strip. And what we've done is we've strip pieced those different sections. The 1 will be closest to the background, and the 4 will be closest to the background. Again, it doesn't really matter in most instances which is where, but if it does matter, pay attention to the diagram that's on the technique sheet so that you'll get them where you need them. So you'll sew your strips, make your A section, make your B section. You'll press your strips the same way that you were instructed to in the technique sheet. All the seams will go in this direction. You'll take it to the next level, just like we do with the Rapid Fire Lemoyne Star, where we put the B strip on the bottom. We'll take and we'll put the A strip on the top. Now that's if you're right-handed. If you're left-handed, those instructions are covered in the technique sheet. You're going to take a few minutes to line up carefully the seams so that they nest very tightly for you. Then what we're going to do is make our first cuts and our second cuts just like we do with the traditional Lemoyne Star tool. For those of you who've never done this, I'm going to briefly touch on this. The first cuts are cuts that you make across these strip sets at a 45-degree angle. The second cuts are cuts that we make going vertically through those first slices. So to make the first slice, I need to set up a 45-degree angle. I use my Rapid Fire Lemoyne Star tool to get me started. The edge of the tool goes against the edge of the strip. A regular ruler. Now I'm going to be cutting through all those labels that are underneath there, but you'll get the idea. Make that first 45-degree cut. Once I've done that, I'm going to take and use the traditional ruler and proceed to continue making those diagonal cuts across this. This is a 9-inch block. The chart tells me I need 2.5-inch strip slices. So that's what I'm putting on the ruler. I'm putting the 2.5-inch mark along the edge, making my next cut, and what I'm going to have are a series of first cut segments. Let me show you these. These are already cut and they are ready for that second cut. So the first cuts you'll go through and you'll make so that they look like this. Now once you've made all those first cuts, you are going to make a second cut into each one of the slices. And the second cut goes vertically. It goes from the tip of the diamond straight up to the edge of the block. What that's going to do is give you, and I'll do one more just so you can see it again. Line up the ruler. I usually put a 45-degree angle here. Line it up with the tip of the diamond. Again, all of that is covered in the basic set of instructions. But when you are done and you open them up, you're going to have your A section. You're going to have your B section, and those pieces that you trimmed with the second cut, you will open up and they become the side triangles that will go on to your strip pieced A and your strip pieced B section. The lineup for those is pretty simple. You're not matching any points. You're not doing any high precision construction. All you're going to do, line up those raw edges and stitch those raw edges one to the next to the next. When I do that, I always chain piece. These are my the one section, I've taken those triangles, put them one right behind the other, stitch those together. When I chain piece, I also then do chain pressing. I take this whole thing to my ironing board without cutting it apart, lay it on the ironing board, determine which is the correct direction to press the seams that you've just sewn. So once you've determined how to press one piece, all of the pieces will be pressed then in that same direction. So you'll construct your B pieces, you'll come back and you'll do the same thing with your A sections, chain piece them together, determine your pressing direction, give them a press, so that when you're done, you are going to have A sections and B sections that look like this. The remainder of the construction process here is just like you would do with the normal Rapid Fire Lemoyne Star. I'm going to take these, my oversized A sections and B sections, and trim them down with my Rapid Fire Lemoyne Star tool. This is for a 9-inch block. So what I'm going to do on the ruler is take and position the 9-inch guidelines of the ruler on the seam lines between the diamond section and the background section, and trim off or trim along both of those pointy edges. Now the trim that you do may result in uneven trims, but that's okay, because what ends up is your piece, your triangle section is exactly the size that it needs to be to create a 9-inch block. Do the same thing with the A section. Line up those 9-inch diagonals. Again, this is very familiar if you have done the traditional Lemoyne Star method. Trim on both sides. What you'll have are precision pieced triangle sections that you'll be able to put those sections together first into a square. Once the squares are put together, you will take those squares, trim off the dog ears, put them together, and you can see where you're headed. You're going to end up making your precision 9-inch block. But the nice thing about the Rapid Fire Lemoyne Star method is that not only is your piecing and your star going to look real pretty, but you have extra fabric around the outside edge that you are now going to be able to trim down to a very precise 9.5-inch block. When I do that, the Tucker trimmer is the tool of choice. It allows me to line up two simple diagonals, my common diagonal and my 9.5-inch diagonal with the seams on the block, trim up one corner, turn it around, trim up the other corner, so that every single block is perfectly sized. All of your points will be 1/4 inch from the edge, and you're going to have absolutely dynamite Lemoyne Star blocks. Now, a couple things that you should think about. The numbers that are on the technique sheet charts are a starting place. They basically divide the diamond into two places, but that's not the only thing you can do with this. If you take a look at some of the blocks behind me, you're going to be able to see some of the variations that I put into this. Some of these, I split the diamond so that the strips are basically the same width, but you don't have to do that. You can also make your 1 and your 4 strips wider than your 2 and your 3 and end up with a block that looks like this. You can strip piece just your A or your B sections, and then the other section, the solid green here, was just done with the traditional Lemoyne Star. Is that any more right or wrong than one way or the other? It's just something different. You can strip piece just your A or B sections, add them to half square triangles. Gives you another look. You can take your diamonds and instead of dividing them into 2 sections, you can divide your diamonds into 3 sections. Those will become a block that looks like this. One of the blocks, and one of the things that I discovered that I liked in piecing a bunch of these though, is that I try to stay away from busy prints. Busy prints tend to not give me the high impact that I desire when I create these. This is one of my favorite ones. When I made this block, it's a 12-inch block. The A sections had 2 strips in it. The B sections had 3 strips in it. And again, once you've pieced your Lemoynes, you can take them and do any of the other variations. You can cut them down and make them square. You can also take them and put them in circles. So this is another thing that you can do with your Lemoyne Star ruler that's going to take you to the next level. You can find the ruler. You can find the technique sheet at your local quilt shop. If you can't find them there, check out our website. While you're there, take a few minutes, sign up for our newsletter so as we introduce new techniques and new tools, and Don't forget to look at our videos. Our videos will talk about putting Lemoynes in circles and doing fussy cut Lemoynes and some other fun techniques with your Lemoyne Star tool and many of my other tools. Thanks, enjoy, have fun, and be sure to send us some photos of your projects. We like to post photos on our friends gallery, so if you make a quilt with strip piece Lemoynes, send us a photo and we'll put it on our website. Thanks.